Deathless Thanos is on his way to the game, so what we're going to do in this video is look at some of the abilities, cross-reference it with the video footage that you can see on screen and from the live stream. There's a very exciting amount of things when it comes to armor shatter, damage potential, that really annoying unstoppable, and lots of applications to be a defensive nightmare, as well as that fury damage that could be very nicely paired up with the likes of Gallon and Odin. Oh yes, maybe not Odin, but maybe Gallon. No, it is. You can have Odin. I had this thing in my mind that it was to do with heroes, but no, you can use it with Odin, and I think that is going to be a real fun thing to test out, especially as you get at your peak a nice amount of fury buffs. So, hey, having a little aptitude booster-rooney and a Gallon, I can't think of another kind of like thing to end it with, but that's going to be a lot of damage at one particular point, isn't it? There are some big things to point out about Deathless Thanos which could make him a very decent asset for survivability, for damage potential and quick ramp to do it. He does specials more quickly, which is great. His ease of access to using counterpunch is a quick and important measure to build, which allows him to build up his furies, and they're big furies. He can do armor shatter, which is going to be important against a lot of tech-based champions. And also the healing off the pain could be another key thing to things like recoil damage. It could be to things like, well, survivability in stuff like Necropolis. And one run, you'll have to use all 7 Deathless Champions. Sorry, all 7-star Deathless Champions, which is kind of unfortunate for those that have the 6-star versions, but at least you'll get Thanos and go, I've got a team of badasses, question mark. He also gets something called Corrosion, which is going to be appearing in the top left-hand corner in a moment. I mean, apart from the big crits and the damage numbers, doing that Corrosion damaging debuff is really nice. So SP2 pop off, bottom right, top right-hand corner, you can see that's a lot of damaging debuff damage right there. But always when I see a champion that's got Unstoppable, and after that Enchantress being put into game, you know exactly what I mean. It's how we deal with the champion. They're advising slow, making good use of Thanos' counterpunch mechanism is key to his gameplay. Champions that prevent it unstoppable or at least attack safely through are major threats. So anything that has a slow debuff, anything that has a passive slow debuff, anything that has a, I don't know, like Captain America Infinity War, are likely going to be those kind of options for it. It's annoying that it's a passive or an effect rather than it be an actual true buff, but you can't have everything. Physical resistance, most of Thanos' hits and his hit corrosion effects deal physical damage. He's significantly lower against opponents who resist such hits. So having physical resistance is the way. Debuff control, Thanos does have some extra ability accuracy for his effects in his signature ability, but opponents that purify away his debuffs slow him down significantly. That's good. At least it means that champions that are skill-based, and also deal with that unstoppable could be decent counters. And of course, this champion will be prime real estate investment for a defense and offense-based characters. But of course, finding counters to said champion is going to be vitally important. Something we don't really see in this video, but at least gives me hope that we can counter and deal with him. I think it would just be a tech slayer, but also maybe an end game content dungeon diver. And I'd say really important for incursions with buffs, debuffs, and just what you can do from fight to fight. I'm really excited to take this champion into incursions. That's a big thing. There's an interesting dev note that I want to read because it factors into the defensive concerns I have, but also the offensive nature to things. So first of all, dev note says necrotic energy represents Thanos' connection to the dead universe from whence he came, and is the battery that powers the rest of his kit. The most immediate consequence is listed here. Thanos has up to 45% extra combat power rate as an attacker and up to 75% extra as a defender. Plan accordingly. Does this then throw your approach to be more power gain control champions, especially knowing this particular scary factor? And if we indeed go back to the video, what do you notice right there? That was a special attack, an SP1 that was built very quickly, and he's now building rapidly. Even as is slow mode in this particular fight, or this particular element, he builds Wow, that's I know that was cut just then, but that is quick because you can see top left hand corner he has like an energized type buff. Either way, the ramp and build of power from an offensive is pretty darn good, right? If that's higher, a larger percentage, you're gonna get clapped more easily by specials when a champion's on defense. So there's two elements to playing the champion that are really important. First of all, it's the Unstoppable, the Scion of Chaos, and the Heavy Attack, which we're going to see some footage of in a second because I'm going to go play that. But first of all, Dev note, mastering Thanos' counterpunch is the key to him both offensively and defensively. As an attacker, learning to block but not parry to go unstoppable and create openings will let you stay on the offensive and will ramp your energy and pause your effects as well. Note that using this to interrupt the opponent's medium dash attack counts as an intercept for nodes and synergy. Example is on screen. I've super slow-moed it down to illustrate that particular point. You can see that it's kind of like a little intercepty type thing. So getting that locked down is going to be a key part of the rotation of the champion. The part 2 to all of this is Master of All, the Heavy Attack, which we mentioned earlier. Given that extra type of stun, passive stun that you get, it allows you to get an extra in to be more aggressive and continue the kind of ramp up and the fight, kind of very Thanos-y in operation. For each hit, either pulverizes one armor up effect, if any, instant and inflicts an instant corrosion, if not both dealing X amount of damage, which of course helps with the ramp up of damage in any case. On the final hit, when cancelling this attack with a special attack, 1 or 2 consume 30 necrotic energy, which again, it's helpful to the ramp. It's about a non-stacking armor break debuff and an armor shatter debuff for 16 seconds. Because there's some champions that are immune to armor break but not to armor shattered. Either way, that's going to help out to improve your damage rotation to kind of build you to another section. And a dev note on this is that Armor Shattered is back and with some new updates, as a glossary entry shows. Its reduction of armor up ability accuracy has been expanded to affect passive as well. But the anti-robot clauses has been left as a special benefit for only Medusa and Vision Arcus. Didn't know that. The Pulverize effect allows you to control any armor up still active when you apply Armor Shattered. An illustration of that is on screen right now, going into the 5-hit combo ender, or 5-hit combo there, and then going down with the heavy attack, or doing it 4-hit combo? No, it was 5-hit combo, and then going into it, the chain right there, putting on the armor break in the top right and the armor shattered. So that's nice. So what is the scheme and the theme to damage rotation? And we've got notes down like this. So you do a heavy attack, first of all, to consume energy and throw an armor shattered debuff, plus the armor break, of course. Build more necrotic energy, and every 10 you get the counter punch charge when attacked to pause effects, like we're seeing a little bit there, and gain more charges whilst unstoppable. When you pass 20 charges, do an SP1 to get the Furies, which you can see we're ramped up to 8. Repeat to get more Furies to obviously the 8. The Genesis passive will help to get that regen, which will be on screen in a moment in time, and then build to an SP2 to melt them. You can see the Genesis passive is in the Genesis effect is in, and it's gone now. It's there and it's gone as soon as it's there. But yes, SP2, you don't have to have all the Furies on in shorter fights, but the longer fights, you will want to kind of do that ramp. Then applying the corrosion debuff, which will be applied on the SP2, which does that full kind of extent of big yellow numbers, but also some relatively modest but decent red numbers of dot damage, which we all like to see as well. A bit of both. An absolute tech destroyer, and definitely a good option for Necropolis and the team that goes with it, which is nice. One of the big things about the Deathless Champions is what benefits that the Thanos gives to everyone else that is going to be, positive. First of all, Guillotine Deathless, the amount of max health required to gain a new soul is decreased by 2%. That's nice. For each personal debuff on Thanos, on the opponent gains plus 200 critical damage rating, so that helps ramp up the big yellow numbers. With King Groot Deathless, gain an Undermine buff during special attacks. Thanos gets a personal Genesis passive and gains 30% increased duration. That is actually really good because we see it for a brief time on that footage that we've been rolling throughout this video. So at least it gives you more opportunity to get more health which gives you better sustainability, which could even mean that you want to use recoil mastery. Vision Deathless, upon triggering an immunity, burn 50% of a bar of power from the opponent. If this reduces the opponent's power below any full bar, gain a phase charge. The ability has 12 seconds to cool down. Gain immunity to power burn and power drain effects as Thanos. And then you've got She-Hulk Deathless intercepting the opponent, inflicts a personal trauma debuff. And then Thanos gets intercepting the opponent, inflicts an instant corrosion, dealing 20% of attack rating. That can be quite nice over a large amount of time. Hopefully I haven't been covering myself here too much with this. But then you've got 6-star plus. Guillotine Deathless souls expire up to 70% more slowly based on how much max health the opponent has than Guillotine. Again, great for doing that big soul burst damage that we know from the champion. And King Groot gets Malice bonus to Fury potency. Gain continued build a maximum of 200% over 200 seconds. That is good for the longer the champion's in the fight, the more damage you'll do, which I love about the original King Groot. So this could be good for other pieces of content. And then you've got Vision Deathless gaining the immunity to reverse controls. That's really handy to have, by the way, to have that. And Vision's power burn, 1 bar of power, and it burns like at least 50% of a bar of power, gain 1 personal phase charge. Everything's very wordy, isn't it? Then you've got more. There's this unique 7-star plus stuff, but gain immunity to rupture effects with She-Hulk Deathless. And then the final thing, which is the most important one, is the unique Umbral Vanguard unique 7-star synergies, which is Synergy Champions in Necropolis. Here we go. Gain 50 vengeance charges if all champions are present. On activation, SP1 inflicts a non-stacking 150% neutralized passive for 15 seconds. That's handy for Guillotine, allows scope to take on different fights, especially with, buffs and things. When struck by an unblockable attack with King Groot, spend 1 Fury buff to gain an unstoppable passive for 3 seconds. That's kind of nice, but kind of maybe aggressively helpful. Vision's personal Fury max stacks increased by +6. Nice. And their pause is increased by +5 seconds. Plus, that could really ramp up some damage that champion needs. Punishing the opponent's special or heavy attacks with She-Hulk grants a grit buff for 10 seconds. That's that new one that counters unstoppable, isn't it? And does it own something else? No, I think it's unstoppable. So good, that expands some stuff with those champions. It's nice. Anyway, yeah, lots of positive things. Whether or not you have the Thor or the Gamora Battlecast, Striker, that's going to be a personal preference. It was exciting to read a lot of this, and especially the rotation elements of it. There's a lot of extras to it. And I want to leave you on this final thought about his immunities. Thanos' long reign in deep. He gets basically immune to cold snap, frostbite, and poison. That's really important, poison. But, hey, still a strong boy. Thank you for watching this video. I'm going to enjoy this peppermint tea. Check out some other content located on screen. And I'll see you all in the next video. Slurpy, slurpy, slurpy. Drinky, drinky. Bye. Oh, and what are your thoughts on the champion? Bye.